Hey everyone, Jason Weckerle here. And right now we're gonna do a segment called What's in My Tackle Box. As a shore angler that fishes a lot of crystal clear lakes and ponds, I tend to go very natural with my crankbaits and my jerkbait collection. I fish Lake Michigan, which is very clear. I fish southeastern Wisconsin lakes, which 90% of them, aside from probably Pewaukee Lake and a few others like Tishigan, Wind Lake, stuff like that, most of our lakes are very, very clear, which means matching the coloration of things that these fish are actually eating, also known as match the hatch, is very important. And to start off, the baits I like to carry since I'm fishing from shore or even when I'm in a boat, because a lot of times we're fishing less than 20 feet of water, I like to carry the Weckerle Original. These lures right here, the black and white, the perch pattern, this walleye pattern right here that I actually call sucker minnow because it looks more like a sucker than a walleye to me. But the perch, the black and white, and that walleye pattern are absolutely deadly, and I like to carry these baits in the F9 size, which is about 3 3/4 to 4 inches long, and I like the F11 size, which is the 5-inch model, and I also like the F7, which is the 3-inch model. You can twitch those baits on the surface, pause them so it looks like a dying minnow on the surface. You can reel them steady and they wobble. You can use them as a jerk bait, ripping it, but deadly lure. It should be in that lure should be in everybody's tackle box. Next, I carry an assortment. I'm not going to sit here trying to pull everything apart. An assortment of Strike King Kevin Van Dam jerk baits and Rapala X wraps. But again, perch patterns, black and silvers. Another thing I carry along with me are topwater baits. I got that box right here. And I like to carry an assortment of Zara spooks and Rapala skitter walks. These baits zigzag on the surface when you're twitching the rod tip. That's a Zara spook right here. Zara spook, another skitter walk hanging on the bottom. But I love those lures. You can even go with the smaller size. I like whopper ploppers. I have a whole assortment of those, but perch patterns and bait fish patterns. You gotta have yourselves a few of these prop baits. These are Rapala skitter props. I think that's what they're called. Don't quote me on that, but you just rip that, pause it, rip it, pause it, and when it's a little windier, sorry, when it's a little windier out, those can tend to be very deadly. Another good prop bait is this head-in torpedo, classic lure. You can't go wrong with buzz baits, which this one right here is a Cavitron, very good buzz bait. You can reel it really slow compared to other buzz baits. I also like the Strike King buzz bait that has the 3 props instead of just 2. It's got 3, any buzz bait you can move a lot slower, I feel like is a lot more deadly. You gotta have yourselves some poppers. The Weckerle Skitter Pop is a good one, or the head-in popper, like this one right here. It's caught me a lot of bass over the years. That's a bait that you just, again, you pop it, stop it, pause it, let the ripples die, pop it, stop it. And if you're using heavier line, some topwater frogs. I believe this is a Spro topwater frog. Can't remember. I bought these a long time ago. But you want to fish frogs on heavy action rods and about 30 to 65 pound test line, so you can rip those fish out of the weeds and the lily pads. That's a topwater box. More deep diving lures I like to use are these rattle traps. You can already hear them rattling. These are absolutely deadly if you just reel them straight, or if you sit there and let them sink down to the bottom and you rip them up off the bottom, let them fall back down, hit the bottom, rip them back up. Another bait I like to use is the Weckerle Rip and Wrap. That's made for that technique. It's just a rip, let it fall on a semi-tight line, rip, rip, and that bait just keeps going and going. Those fish attack it. Walleyes love that. Bass, pike. I've caught muskies doing that. More lures I like to use are this is the deep diving version of Weckerle Original. This is called the Weckerle Minnow Wrap. It's basically a cross between an original and a shad wrap. This bait right here, it's mixed with the original, which I showed you earlier in the video. That bait. And you get that body, but this is a bait that dives anywhere from like 6 to 10 feet about. Really good lure for walleyes, pike, bass. Caught a lot of fish on that. I like shadow wraps, whether it's the deep diving model or the shallower model, which is this one. Again, black and silver and perch. Very good colors to use. I carry an assortment of shorter length baits, like these smaller Etz wraps, these smaller Kevin Van Dam strike canes. Right here I got some Storm suspended dots. You can buy suspend strips or dots, and what they are is they're lead stickers, and you want to just put, like if you're at home and you use a fish tank or anything you can see inside of, or even if you're out fishing on the water, you stick one on there, and you want to get the bait to suspend perfectly still when you pause it. When you twitch, pause, it should sit still, not float back up, not sink. And not every crankbait or suspending jerkbait you buy is gonna suspend perfectly. Some of them sink, some of them float. If you guys have sinkers, like a sinker right out of the box, it'll still work, but that's more of a summertime technique, or when the bass or the fish are feeding, the walleyes, pike, you can let it sink, but when it's cold out, you want that bait dead still. And I like to carry just, again, an assortment of baits. Olive green and white. This gold pattern can be good in tannic water or murky water. But these are all about 3 inches long, 3.5. Sometimes you have to downsize. They won't go after the 4 or 5 inch baits. but that's been one of my favorite colors since it came out, the X-Wrap, the olive green. That's been really deadly for bass and walleyes for me. Then I carry an assortment of these shad wraps and Berkeley flicker shads. All the same colors. You guys are probably like, man, all your baits look the same. That's because they work. Sorry to say, but black and white, natural finishes, perch patterns, bluegill patterns, you can't go wrong. And the last thing I'm going to show you, by the way, is the bluegill pattern. I carry a lot of these Rapala DT6s and DT4s. Like I said, I'm fishing from shore. I go with the DT10 and even the 16, but DT stands for dives 2. So this dives to 6 feet, the other one dives to 4 feet. Whatever number is on the package, it says DT8, DT10, dives to that depth. And those are absolutely deadly. The bluegill pattern, bluegills get chowed on by bass, pike, walleyes, muskies. I mean, even a muskie will take a swipe at a small lure sometimes. So that's what's in my tackle box, and I hope this information helps. If you're fishing clear or even murky water, natural finishes can be the thing. When chartreuses and fire tiger colors, orange, pink, sometimes that stuff works too, especially if you're fishing really murky water. But if you guys are fishing clear water or any water with visibility, the fish know how to recognize minnows, bluegills, crappies, and suckers, shiners, all that stuff. And it's good to match the coloration with your lures of those prey species. I hope this video helped you. If you guys like this video, subscribe to my page and hit the like button. Good luck on the water. Take it easy.